Go by the clock in the back of the room, call the meeting to order, and ask the clerk to note that all board members are present, and remind everybody that the public meeting laws are posted in the clerk's office if you're interested. We haven't had any kind of an executive session for quite some time. I think the last time had to do with personnel, and that's been a good while back. But nevertheless, if you're interested, there they are. Comments from persons here, public on agenda items. We've had some input in the form of a letter, and Mr. Laughinghouse brought some photos, handed them to me, which they're all different photos, and there's one set, so that relates to item 5. We'll just pass them around, I guess, if you have any questions when we get to that item about the photos. Maybe Rick can clarify it for us. Other comments on other items at this time? Yes.
I said something to Donna about our ditch out in front where they attempted to do the dirt work on the ditch. I've got standing water. It's going to be a mosquito magnet before too long.
Well, it will if we have a wet year, I'm sure.
Well, somebody did the dirt work.
Well, it's I'll take a look at it.
I've got pictures I can show you.
I'm able to look at it. I know last year it was draining now.
Never held water up there before. We had problem down where the new ditch is. Now it's all the way up.
Is that what Mary is?
Well, that's a lot more.
Doesn't have a
I
normal.
have my own pond out there.
No, down here.
Well, how long is it there?
It's been there since the
Edward
Is it still there?
House or-
Yes, it's
no.
still there.
Emmett, no.
No.
Is there water across the road?
Up there next
Is
to
there
the
water across the road?
No.
They didn't put enough anti-flowing to that ditch,
Here's
to
the
the culvert
driveway
that
by
went
the
across.
tree to my car.
It's sitting
Right.
flat and they dug too much out next to the driveway.
Down.
And now it's like holding up there instead of
They're going
draining.
in, down from the river.
I mean, it drained before the right way, so it got to the hole that they tore out.
Stop
It
draining.
just wasn't. Pictures. Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't seen it. Sorry.
That's, if need be, we'll put that on the agenda for next month.
Listen to Donna, you know what I'm saying?
It's a difference between hiring a contractor that's an engineer.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at it several times after it rained last fall and it was draining, but maybe there was some dirt washed in there or something. Okay, on the lagoon project, next item, we still don't have a report on the valuation by the independent realtor. I communicated with the attorney. That's where the holdup is. Consequently, we're stymied. This may not all be bad, however, because other things are happening. Donna just informed me today that we did get an additional $166,000 in grant funds.
Is that to be repaid?
Grant
Well,
funds,
that's right.
not
That's what,
loan
see-
funds.
See, that's what you said about the water meter. That was a grant.
Grant funds we got. This don't have to be paid back. We're not, okay, grant funds. Now, how those can be used, I don't know yet. I got the email today how we can apply them. It's not like we can turn around and apply them to the meters. We're already obligated to pay that back.
That was a grant.
It was not a grant.
Yes,
not
it
a
was.
grant. No, it wasn't.
What is that word? Grant number from DEQ right there. Viking Kirk Brothers.
We're
And
not
the
going
grant
to,
number.
we're not going, I don't care what they said, it wasn't.
You never wanna know what
That
it
is
says.
not going to be discussed any further tonight anyway. I'm just saying, I don't know how these additional monies can be used until such time as we've had a chance to talk to the agencies. the,
So what is this new grant money for then?
to offset some of the other costs of the project, whether it be, I just told you, I don't know how we can use the money yet. But we did get some additional money, which won't have to be repaid. And also, we're trying to set up a meeting with some of the entities to look at this. Not an advertised meeting, they've asked for a meeting with a couple of board members. So maybe by the next board meeting, we'll have more information. The sewer situation on 4th Street is kind of peripheral to this, only in that they missed that block when they did the initial filming and slip lining. So we had expenses reflected in last month's bills, reflected again in this month's bills from, we had Peterson's up here and tried to do it with a snake. That didn't work, so we had to call Fairbury back and back flush that block. So that's what those.
That's over here.
That's between the highway going east 1 block down to the manhole, which is roughly 286 feet. That's the bad news because we got these bills. The good news is we would have had some expense, although it would have been under the grant to do that block, and there won't be any additional cost. The filming is done, no cost for that. There was some root removed, not only by Fairbury, but by Midlands when they came down and filmed, and there'll be no charge for that. But there are charges from Fairbury and Peterson. We couldn't do it with a small snake, and so we had to get Fairbury up here. But how that's done, okay? Any board member questions?
What was part B? Jeremy said was in the road.
Well, we can't proceed with the property acquisition until we have a valuation.
Is that the Lagoon acreage?
Yes, ma'am. Any questions on item 3?
Is there any repair needed on that?
No, thank you. My information was that block, they were going to recommend slip lining on that block after there was some root ground out. And that's not that it couldn't recur, I guess, but they weren't recommending it. Okay. Harbine Street is the block that we actually approved for repair. I don't know if it was a year ago.
That was last year,
It was last year, but I don't remember what month. I talked to Alan Hine. We're on the schedule. He didn't give me a specific date, but he is standing by the price that was quoted last year. There was an opportunity of sorts, came here within the last 10 days to Thayer County Road Department called, and they wanted to store some millings for work on the road going to the state lakes. Of course, they only have the first mile, okay? So they wanted to pile some millings up, and they wanted to do it at the tree dump. And I said, no, I didn't want them to do it at the tree dump because I didn't think the cleanup would be such that it'd be very good mowing after they left all those millings there. So I gave them an alternative, which was the street which was on Vera, south of the church. I didn't think that would hurt anything, and if there were any millings left over, it'd be an improvement over what's there. Apparently, that wasn't a good idea because they are now taking, and also there was a chance that we could get some millings cheaper from the county by accommodating them. But evidently he didn't like that because he made arrangements to store them out at Gary Mooseman's there. So that's a moot item at this point. Okay, any questions on that? That's just basically follow-up. There's no action required.
Is that the only street we're gonna be doing, is Main Street?
just that one block is all we're committed to right now, is,
Some of those manhole covers are kind of dippy.
yeah,
Are we gonna do anything about that at all?
well, that's a good question, actually.
And on the end of my alley, there's a big dip by Jim's, you know, that they said that they were gonna fix when they were, you know,
Who's
doing the
they?
sewer.
Who's they?
The sewer people from County or
Oh.
whatever. They said they were gonna fill that in, but they've never done that. Kind of a pretty big dip coming out of that alley.
Who was, what was the poop on that? Why, we were gonna look at 2 or 3 of those manhole covers. And who were we gonna talk to? Who had that? What did that go back to? The rings put on?
I don't remember.
It's not coming, anybody?
Mr. Chairman, was that Roger Peterson?
Yeah,
Well,
he put the original in.
yeah. But part of the problem there is that one end is high and the other end is low.
That's what we're here on Fourth.
And they don't make rings that are,
No, offset.
No, yeah.
I mean,
You're talking about the one over here on,
well, the one right
Right by my alley too.
where our alley's
Oh,
about
that
as bad
one.
as any.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that's the worst one. I
Well,
know.
it's one of the worst.
Yeah, it is. And then at the end of that alley where Jim is, there's a big hole there. And I don't know if there's a manhole cover there too or not.
Are you talking about that dip in front of your place, your doors?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's, it's, you know, you don't know, people don't know it's there, it's not good.
I know.
Well, I suppose one thing we could do, I hate to do it, but we could do it, would be to fill those in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pack something in there,
We got
Right.
some-
which is the way they were when they,
Yeah, finish.
no,
Yeah,
okay, that came up when they had to access all those manholes to do this filming. Now,
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's coming back to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And then they tore up all the manhole covers, you know.
They,
and-
Right. Maybe that's what,
Yeah,
that'd be the
they-
cheapest
they put
solution. In the
those,
short term, that would be the cheapest
Yeah.
solution, but,
They put those things called grindings or something in there.
Millings.
Yeah, wasn't that what they were called? They called them grinding?
Mm-hmm.
And then they were packed in, and then they took them all out and didn't, bring
Okay.
it back up, so.
there, I think all of them that are problematic are on that street. On,
Yeah.
what is
I'm trying to
that?
move a lot of the streets, but I know that.
Is that it? Is that
Yeah.
it?
Or you come right by there anyway. Jim, so you know, I mean-
Might be someone Marie.
I mean, when I turn in there, I notice. it.
Maybe, Doris, when we had this work done up here on
Yes.
Harbine, maybe we can just
Put some in
use
there.
some of those
Okay.
millings and fill those in.
Okay.
Maybe they would be loose enough that if we had to access that manhole, it'd be better than solid asphalt.
Well, I could probably come in a different way, you know,
No,
and
no,
quality.
I hear you.
No,
No, you're not the
it
first
needs
one that's
fill.
mentioned that.
Oh, it-
What about all those streets out here by 53 coming into town? Every one of them's rough where they can be.
Yeah.
Are they gonna take care of that, or the town has to?
We've taken care of it.
They're all bad.
And, but actually, we've also maintained that it's the state's responsibility. And of course, they don't want to do it.
They need to put a sign up there on that Main Street. These big heavy trucks come by there and that road can't take it. Just tears it up all the
Yeah.
time.
I mean,
They
I
should
would
have
say
to go
no
over
big
the
trucks
highway.
allowed. You know, I mean, what's that, I mean,
A lot of
other
towns put a
have
sign
that.
up.
It hasn't been that long ago that we repaired those.
Yeah, well, the railroad trucks go up
What,
and
the
they'll
ones
tear it
off
right
the
back
street?
up.
Off the highway?
Doesn't seem like it's been
No,
that long ago.
no, it wasn't. Was it? Probably
I
2
mean, this
years
is
ago.
off the subject, but are they doing anything to the Little Sandy Bridge this year, this summer?
There's no schedule for
Oh,
that.
there isn't? Well, there's a lot of big holes there.
Yeah. How about, you know,
That bridge is even worse.
Coming in, I'm like, oh dang, I better slow
Yeah.
down for it, break the front end alignment.
no, when they had I'll divert for a minute. When they had the meetings on that, I think it was last summer.
Yeah, I
It's part of
remember.
their 5-year plan, but it could be any time or not within the 5-year period.
Well, I know they have it all flagged out there by that monument thing over there. That's why I was wondering.
But we haven't been told that.
Yeah.
They told me it'd be 2018 for that.
Close
I know,
to
we
five
should almost
years.
stop
Close
when
to
we do a
five
road custom.
One.
Let's go on to, I'm gonna see about these manholes. I'm gonna check on your drainage over there.
Right Meridian Street down to Steve for those manholes. Check some there.
Oh, yeah, up on the north end. Okay. Okay, the number 5, street drainage on east side of Vera between 3rd and 4th. I won't read it all, I'm sure you've read it. Basically, we're talking about a half a block here on the east side of Vera. There is a problem of water standing there. It's not dissimilar from the problem in front of Mrs. Brown's in the sense that there's virtually no drop from one end of the street to the next. I mean, that's part of the problem. Part of the problem in front of her house is the fact that the street is raised and therefore a dam is being created. And there's so little drop that you can't put enough drain pipes in to get the water all the way. But that's the main issue is water standing. Rick had a letter, a rather lengthy letter, which I hope that you've had at least a chance to read. I think it does give background on it thoroughly. This is not a new issue. I would agree with that. We've looked at this as at least from time to time. It's never risen to the level of high level of concern, I guess. And Rick had taken upon himself, and I don't fault him for this, to disc that, to say that it drained better. I doubt he would make that claim, but it did keep the weeds down. The water is more inclined to go into the ground because the ground's broken. It'd be there maybe for a day or maybe 2 days, but instead of it isn't there for 2 months or 2 weeks or whatever. But now it's become an issue with largely. I was called over there by Jason Day, and really, I'll lay this out and then I'll take questions. We can do nothing, which is what we've done for the last hour long. Marge telling me that one time that ditch was filled in. I don't know if that's true or not. Not since I've been here, but that's entirely possible at some point in time. It would silt in over time anyway, even though it's pretty flat. There's enough stuff goes down there that it's going to settle out. There's a considerable flow of water down through there when there's a heavy rain, but it doesn't get away very well. And then the culvert on the south end is higher than the ditch, half full. I don't know. Is it half full of dirt?
10%.
Well, the culvert on 3rd Street may be 10% full. Okay, the culvert in my alley behind my house is 35, 40, somewhere in there. It's considerably more.
There's good, reasonably decent drainage though right now on your half a block. It appeared to me.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So the water is moving as far as that alley culvert. Okay. So we can do nothing. I did get a bid from Effenbeck's. The bid is to replace the culvert under the alley, which is a 18-foot culvert, a culvert under the street below. And the reason he's recommending replacing the culverts is the one on the south end has concrete around it. And you can spend about as much time cleaning one of those up or trying to salvage it as to replace it. So in the bid, the cost of the culverts is $934. The bid to do, he's estimating as many as 6 truckloads of black dirt being removed. And that's what would go on the bid up to the, we find a corner or something and save that black dirt because
At the brush pile?
Yes.
Where if we needed some of it.
It could be used by community persons. I can probably at some point sell it. He doesn't need it today, but we could sell the dirt, or it could be, it's gonna be good dirt if you wanna dress something out, or, so.
Put it back in her ditch.
That could bring it
Fill
back
my
in
ditch
where they
in.
took too much
Well-
Put it back in her ditch.
They just
We
took too
could
much out.
put some there. I don't think that's the solution, but, anyway. We got about it's a half a block, 160 feet of ditch, but that's including under the alley and under the street. Rick is more familiar with what's across the street south than I am. He's made some efforts already on his own recognizance to improve the drainage down there. That's on his property. I can't say, and I don't know what Rick would say, if we can actually get it under 3rd Street, if it's gonna go on south,
It flows
that would
fine.
be the hope.
From 3rd Street down,
It flows
it
pretty
flows
good.
fine. I get some of those trees out of that ditch. The only problem is when you get back to the end on the railroad portion, where it hits the ditch that goes east and west, on the back of my property, okay, on the north side of the north side tracks,
The railroad easement.
they throw all kinds of crap in there. You got trees, and I can't get back in there and clean it without getting permission from them. Brenda Manwaring up in Omaha. I complained about it a couple of years ago. And they sent some tractors and track hose back there, and they cleaned that ditch, which was good. But they made it wider and deeper, so now it holds more water.
I was gonna say,
In the
my
back.
experience, what little bit I've been down there, is there's more standing water down there than,
In the back.
yes,
Right.
than
Yeah.
one would like, but what can you do? It's on their right of way.
Well, that's-
So, the Effenbachs told me that they couldn't do this until July in any event, but I don't imagine a job this small, you're gonna get too many other people interested either.
That's the only bid you got was from Scott County.
It is. This one, I don't know, Rick, when was that? Week or 10 days ago that,
Something like that.
Oh, it was the 18th. I think it was the 18th when
of,
last
April?
month.
Okay, so maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I said I'd bring it to the board at that time. I tried to mediate, there's no mediating. Is that fair?
No, that's absolutely fair. Yeah.
Thank you.
Who's responsible to clean out your culverts?
I wish I knew.
Our town's
Because
road.
I don't want to go out and I'm afraid of snakes.
That's great.
Well,
I wish you hadn't brought
I
that.
had a ditch for my house, so.
every year I don't like doing that. You know.
Well, they, no, I can understand that. I
I don't,
think one time, the fire department blew the line clear under my driveway once in 21 years. So,
I mean, if it got cleaned out really good the first time, then the person, with the problem, we could keep it up.
it'll last a while.
Yeah, you could see what was in there, That's all I'm saying.
I brought this to his attention, and it was about your alleyway, which goes down into her alleyway, which erodes everything. Why could they not put asphalt through there and bring it to where that it goes down into the drain? I'm just asking.
Her alleyway goes to
Because-
my alleyway.
Well, you can, but it's just a matter of cost.
But it would keep the flow going, and it'd keep the garbage out of her yard where she's having problems with what's coming from his alley that's going down across the road and into her yard and then wear
We
it
have to
out.
solve some of that. Yeah.
Didn't solve all of it though.
Well,
Well, you're on it. You're not going to solve everything there. I mean, it's because the incline. I mean, and the water's going to start at the top and go to the bottom. I'm just asking.
Only thing that was
you're
solved,
you're
that's
right.
if they put a
I mean,
new
if you go to
culvert
Fairbury,
across
I can show you
the
alleys with a
highway.
similar situation, and they're concrete.
That's what I'd like
Because
to
the
see.
pitch is too great. to hold anything, you're gonna have trash or gravel, rock, it all comes
I
out.
wouldn't mind the trash other than the sand and the gravel and the rock.
But it's gotta be better, Doris, after the work
Yeah.
you did last summer.
At least I'm not shoveling.
We did my yard, we took all your shit off of your streets and put it in my yard to build up a fucking, because we have a flood zone. Sorry about my potty mouth.
I have got an idea. Community project. We dig it up and we lay bricks. All of us just get out there and lay bricks.
Well,
Community
Out of
project.
your mind?
And I got another question, please. I'm sorry.
I think that's not too far off the mark. One of the things that I think that we're going to all have to accept, and again, I'm going to compliment Rick on doing the work down there in the ditch. It might have pissed somebody off, but at least he was doing something. And if you don't do anything, if you see something that needs to be done, better to do something
And get yelled at.
and get yelled at. Well, you take the chance.
Yeah.
The property up there where these people came and got the buildings, which is on the agenda here. Looks like hell, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What do you suppose is going to happen?
It's going to sit there.
Okay, one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to sit there and be an eyesore, which it all, I mean, there's
Mine's
only so
one.
much you can do,
Mine's one.
or somebody's going to go up there and clean it up.
That's what
Because,
we're getting ready to do. Once people got out, that's what we're working on right now.
On which house?
That cedar tree that's up here on
Amanda.
this lot that's down, is there?
Oh, honey,
They left my house up
I've been more than
there.
happy to
Yeah.
go get it. I've been eyeballing it, but, just to get it out there, I'm tired of looking at it.
Yeah, my house
I am
is
too.
a junkyard.
But
here's what, if you want to do that, Rick, go to it.
Right.
If somebody wants to
Scream about it.
raise hell about it,
Was he allowed to cut down that tree and throw it up against the
when
house?
I called the treasurer 3 times to ask them how they could remove these buildings that the taxes hadn't been paid on, I said, isn't that a job for the sheriff if it's against the law? Well, yeah, except the taxes owing on the buildings that they removed are less than $20, and they're not going to mess with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what we were told too.
Oh, that's a store to come out to the town.
What'd you think?
So there you are.
I don't want nothing to do with my store.
I called
Pardon?
too.
The store, grocery store.
It what?
I'm letting it fall down because I can't do anything with it. I can't sell it. I can't do anything with it. So
Oh,
I'm
you wanna-
letting it down.
If you have a use for that, Rick, I'm going to go up there on my own, not as a town person,
Don't walk in there.
and
You'll
haul
fall in
some
the
stuff
basement.
away. If somebody wants to raise hell about it, I guess they can. But,
Is this the Diana property?
yes.
Yes.
So what are you gonna do over there? Clean up the tree and the
If we
mess?
could do that, that'd be a big
That would help.
help, and I'm
This is
gonna
my
haul
first
some
one.
stuff down to the transfer station. And, maybe we can get a burn permit and burn some of the brush.
But if you don't buy it,
Huh?
We're not.
Well, let them sue us.
if you don't own it, then they do anything about it.
No, I don't.
What do you think a judge is gonna say anything about that?
I don't know, but
I'm
I've been
not-
trying to do
I guess-
stuff with Williams property for what, 7 years?
Can
Can I ask a question about Williams property? Can the town get one of those dumpsters? And like she said, that we just as a community, because we want the place to look a little bit better.
Trespassing.
I
The
mean,
man
you
on
know,
the door.
Trespass.
go in there and get the crap out of there, put it in a dumpster.
Trespassing.
Well,
It's not Williams's place
It's not
anymore, according to
trespassing
them.
because they don't want it. They absolutely do
it
not want
hasn't come
it.
up for sale.
No,
It's still there.
No, but
No,
supposedly
it's here.
they sold it to somebody else.
Kind of down a couple items, but.
Yeah, but anyway,
Well,
I'm just,
let's
question.
let's come back to that. I think, let's just finish with that, as long as we're there. The biggest concern that I would have would be if the village underwrites something, then your nephew gets hurt, or you get hurt, or whatever, then.
can you not sign a petition, you can do that, you can sign a thing saying that I am,
Here's
that you're
what-
not responsible.
Here's what I'm gonna suggest. If we put a dumpster, or I'm just saying, if we did this, if we put a roll-off
Right,
adjacent to the property on the street, and you go over there, or you and whoever go over there and do something, that's on you.
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, if I
It's your
got
own
a
responsibility.
roll-off there, I'm not telling you you gotta do anything. I'm not accepting you as a volunteer. You're doing this on your own, just like I will be going up to that other place on my own.
What other place?
To,
The Blake,
Blake House.
north of the community center.
Well, you know, I was just thinking
or
that,
Rick would be going there. I'm not telling Rick to do it. I'm not telling him it's a town project. I'm saying, good for you.
well, I'm just asking that, you know, if the town,
That's the only
Get a
way anything's
dumpster.
gonna get done.
yeah. If a town did a dumpster and let a community clean up, I mean, everybody, if you got crap around in your yard, you do that once in a while and put it out there for somebody to take metal off and sell
It
it.
would be worth a try.
You mean to
And,
put,
you know,
yeah, put metal on, but
That'd
he
be a
didn't get
good
very much the
deal.
last time.
I know, but what I'm saying is, people cleaned up a little bit of
Yes, they
stuff
did.
around their place and they
And
put it over
It's
there.
worth asking him again.
Well, that doesn't
And you know, a lot of people.
I mean,
do
Beverly
help
does
them
it.
Load up their.
Good
metal
idea.
either, you know.
I can clean my house this up real quick.
Along with this here, Fawn, I heard you mention you were gonna clean something up.
She's gonna clean it up.
She's
on
trying to
the-
clean up her Amanda house, but she can't do anything with this next door. She wants to sign it over to you, or whoever wants
Want
it.
it.
Oh,
The roof fell in, the floor fell in, so it's,
The building needs to come down.
It's beyond, this.
Yeah, next door.
Yeah.
Next door.
Next
grocery
door.
store.
It needs
No,
to
I'm
come
cleaning
down.
up, I'm working on the big house on Amanda. I cleaned it up my bathroom, I
You're
remodeled in
going
my
to
bathroom.
live there.
No,
No, you wanna get it cleaned up.
yeah.
It's not livable, in other words, or not.
Not at this
Right.
point. The kids tore it up that was living in there.
They took all the cabinets out, everything. So I got a roof.
So you wanna tear it down? Is that
No,
what
she's
No,
gonna
no,
put
that's
it
the
back
first
so she
house
can
that
sell
was
it.
built here. I will not.
You,
No.
Catholic Church.
We'll be on the agenda.
Well,
We're still on the street.
you're on the news.
Still on number 5.
We're gonna back up, let's back
Can
up
we
to
take
the,
5?
let's go back up to number 5. We got
Yeah.
a little ahead of ourselves
Yeah.
here. It's all relevant, I mean, it's all,
Yeah.
do we want to,
Yeah,
contract to have this done or not?
I got a question, Steve. What is our cost? Do you remember what our bid is on this project?
I'm gonna say $5,500.
That sounds.
Okay, we'll talk.
And this is what, 34?
This is right at 4.
Okay.
And that would
I
be
didn't hear
street
nothing.
funds.
Yeah, well, street, I was just looking how much money was in the street fund on, you know. So,
No.
yes, it does, yeah.
I get your number on my phone
But,
yesterday.
you know,
Well, the street needs
that's what it is.
repair.
It needs repair, yeah.
Well, we're already committed to that.
Right.
Yeah, we're committed to that, yeah.
The street limits for.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
We can't use it through the
So,
hill.
but we do have to think in the future, the project.
Yeah.
We know that.
You guys don't let me.
That's gonna be major.
Nobody looks at me, nobody talks to me anymore.
Any questions, other questions on the information that's been presented? I'm
What
gonna
is
make
it
a,
gonna do
I'm,
now to that?
I'm gonna make a motion that we, accept F and Beck's bid and address the problem, by, digging the ditch out. I don't know that there's any absolute guarantee that it's gonna correct the problem, but I'm gonna make a
What
motion.
happens if we leave it just like it is?
Well, we'll have a conflict between the two individuals, and we'll still have, and we're gonna have standing water.
With that, Steve, when it rains, when we have a large rain event, okay, and the water pools down there just a few feet north of the north side of the culvert on 3rd Street, okay, it'll pool there. When I go down there and I churn that under, it kills all the weeds naturally. I make a groove with my tire from one culvert to the other. That way, if we have another rain event, it follows that path. Okay. The biggest thing it does is because when you churn the dirt under, it's dark and the sun hits it faster. The water evaporates. It dries out a lot faster. But the biggest thing I'm doing it for is the mosquitoes. When you have that water standing there, whether it's there and or in the grass, where I'm not tilling,
I'm allergic.
then the mosquitoes are just notorious there. And they were south too. So the alternatives that I was faced was, like I wrote in the letter, was till it or chemically treat it. And I don't like using a lot of chemicals
I'm gonna be real keen on that.
because of the
water
close
table.
proximity of the water well, what have you. So what I've been doing in the past, when I was tilling this ditch, and then south of 3rd Street, I'd put bleach in a sprayer, and I'd walk down and I would spray bleach into the standing water. Not a lot, but it's
Kill
just
the
enough
larvae.
to kill the larvae, and it works well. That's why largely while I'm tilling this up over here,
And bleach
is to
is
keep it
good.
dry. It also gives us a path of visibility so you can see, if the grass does get tall, and if that is grass where I'm tilling, if it grows, it doesn't get mowed by really anybody, because you don't know what trash is coming off of somebody else's vehicle and gets in the ditch and it tears up a lawnmower.
The only
Okay?
time I seen that attempt to get mowed was about 5 years ago, and Donna sunk her lawnmower in
I
there.
remember that.
Remember that?
I do.
And from then on, they never mowed it there. And that's when she asked Rick to till it.
The biggest reason why I till it, like I said, is to keep it dried up, keep the weeds down, and keep the
No,
mosquitoes up.
I don't think it has.
And it works well.
I've never said anything about it, because
Right.
I think it's better than nothing. I think that to create the drainage so it drains like the half block next to your house would be better. But our choices are to do nothing or to
Fix it.
fix it. I'm making a motion to do the repair or the.
I'll second it, because I think that culvert doesn't drain. We need to get it done. But we need to keep in mind, when we do this and we do our other projects, we dig into our street money,
Right.
and that may limit other things.
I only have one more thing to say. A couple of years ago, when we asked Marge if we could put a culvert in where we go across, where we go in the backyard with our tractor. When we drive into the backyard, we go across the thing. And Rick asked if we could put a culvert there. And Marge said no, we could not, because these ditches were designed by an engineer. And that any work that was done on the ditches, on the drainage, had to be done by an engineer. Now, only question I have is Scott and Patty, are they engineers?
I guarantee you they're not. I mean, I'd be real surprised if they were.
But that's what we were told, that nothing
We
could be
haven't-
done,
We
you
haven't
know.
followed that rule of thumb. We didn't do that last year either. I mean, Scott runs a
Transit, yeah.
transit, and I think he's competent with the transit. I think he's right on when he says there's not 6 inches of drop from one end of the block to the next, as in front of that house. I think there's, I don't think there's a lot of drop down in that neck of the woods anywhere. It's,
I mean, I'm all for getting that fixed right there, because I'm tired of the water standing right there.
I'm not gonna make a motion to hire an engineer, because it'll cost as much to hire the engineer as well to do the work. And,
It was just a point that I
do not
So-
recall telling you folks that.
but you
I'm not
did,
gonna-
Margie.
well,
I
that's
mean,
Go ahead, if you wanna
let's just say
that's
that that's
fine, but
water
I'm not
under
going
the
to.
culvert, as it were.
Pardon me?
That's water under the culvert.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I've
it
got a
belongs,
motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I don't know if it belongs to this part, but 3rd Street, when you turn in, there's a lot of basements there, a lot of. We're losing our tires over those basements and they're
Potholes.
holes. We have to go to the other side to get to my house. Because we turn on 51, turn right, and they're right there. We have to go through to the other side. What are we going to do about that?
Out in front of Josephine's and Wilma's house, it's broke up the
Right.
You've seen it. It's all broke up through there. Big potholes.
Go through my tires.
We did that as recently as 2 years ago. It hasn't held up very well, but we did do that.
Here you go,
We
please.
did that with the spraying of the streets first time, did we not?
Right. Well, no, I think that's about right.
Yeah.
And it lasted about a year. It was good a year ago. I'm gonna call a motion. Mark,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
I'll vote yes.
Hold your hand up there.
I'm gonna try to lose the tires.
Now we're gonna go back to nuisance properties.
Steve, you had a question.
Excuse me.
I have a question because I kind of lost track of the conversation. In other words, I'm presuming what you're saying, it's all right for Rick to continue what he's doing.
No,
until-
we're going to hire the people that came in and worked on 4th Street last year and replaced the culvert in front of Mrs. Brown's house to come and do this, dig out this ditch and create a better drainage, replace the culvert under the alley, which would be on the southwest corner of Mr. Lavinghouse's property, and the one on, that would be 3rd Street.
Okay, then my question is in the interim, until they get here to do that, he can continue doing what he's doing to stop the mosquitoes?
Well, I think
Yeah,
so.
we're here until July sometime.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
what
you
you were
said.
saying.
Yeah, and it might be towards the end of July. So, I mean, you never know. I mean, it kind of depends on how their work breaks, but I don't think they wanted to promise anything sooner than that. So
That's flatland down there, that's gonna be awful.
I'm sure
hard.
I'm sure we'll. Rick just did it. What? Rick, a couple days ago.
Day before yesterday, again.
So
It's okay, you all right? I had to pat her back, I thought she was choking.
back to the nuisance properties. I think we probably have. I don't know. You want to get? I wouldn't want to get a roll off. Well, I guess I could.
Well, last time we had one of those in, we ended up with well over $1,000 in it, didn't we, Donna?
I think we
Haul it
filled
off.
it twice, yeah.
Pardon?
I think they emptied it and brought it back, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's
And
been
that
a
was
few,
about
quite a few years ago.
Are you? No, I'm talking about for a property cleanup, not
Right.
a.
Right, yeah, they'll bring it, yeah. You can bring, we had a roll-off. It's been a lot of years ago,
But I'm just saying that's what the cost of
Mhm.
ran.
yeah.
All right. Well, we put up with it this one. Let's do this. Let's put our focus on the Blake property for the next 30 days. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if anybody's interested in cleaning that up.
Now, does the community own that? I mean, does the town own that now?
No,
So just gonna clean it up?
not. I'm just going to see if anything happens. If anything goes away by osmosis or whatever the magic formula is. And if it does, maybe we'll be encouraged to do something more, i.e. your suggestion with the roll-off. Or,
Can I say something about the roll-off? I know they're talking about the cost of it. But
I didn't
would
make
it
that
not
comment.
offset for the fact that you have to hire the attorney to send off the letters, the money that you send for the attorney, the month that goes by and nothing gets done, and then you send out another one, now you've got to pay the attorney again.
well, that's,
Where's the
that's
money?
You know,
from?
and meanwhile, we're still having the same problem.
yeah. Well, no, that's a good question. I'm glad you brought
Where's the
that
money
up
coming
because
It's in the fund.
I did talk to
Yeah,
Mrs.
okay.
Bauer about this other property, the Phillips property,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm guessing the bill we got last month, the bill that's in this month, we're talking $300, and I said, what if we refile it? She says you're probably, talking 2 hours of time between the letter, the blah, blah, blah. Well,
And
that's
nothing's getting
$300.
done.
Okay.
We
So,
still don't own it.
And we're just beating our head.
and so the last time it was a fine of basically $75. That doesn't compute very well with me in terms of what you're accomplishing.
And a lot of it's
So I would agree with you that we would be better off,
You cannot step on property if you don't own it.
Didn't
watch
you,
me.
Didn't you say, Mr. Digger, at the last meeting that she gave you the choice of either civil or criminal? And civil's not going anywhere. So if you, in my mind, if you decided that you were to try to shift it and go with a criminal charge, somebody's going to move. And then the people that are around that are watching this going on, they might get a message that they could be next.
That's not I won't disagree with that. But I didn't have the foggiest idea that we were talking a $25 fine and 2 weeks to pay it. I mean, I thought maybe
An order to clean up.
All the judge says is you can refile it. Next time the fine will be higher, but we're not going to be able to stand the cost of refiling.
Steve, when was that? Few years ago?
Do you really think they care about it?
You guys sent Donna and I down to talk to Linda Bauer.
Who cares?
How long ago was that, Donna?
Several years.
Yeah, and we asked her about these nuisance properties. And she wasn't real favorable then that we would accomplish much.
What would happen if we did do the criminal route? What would that entail?
I can ask her.
Why do other towns not have the same problem that we are here?
They do.
You just have to live there.
Mary and I drove by, we was in the greenhouse down in Beverly, there's a burned out property down there.
I mean, smaller little communities.
Attorneys know we're going to act on it.
Well, I don't know whether, we didn't pursue.
I don't know any of them.
Well, it's something to look into, ask her on it.
I can talk to her.
Meeting going on.
I told her I wasn't gonna authorize her to refile it until I talked to the board, so I'm glad you brought
Why
it
should
up.
we have to look at that property? And why should we have all the roads?
Well, Christ, I've lived one for 7 years. That's only been a year.
I know.
What's the difference? Why do I gotta look at one on the corner of mine all this time, and then you gotta look at it up there by his dad?
When these properties are getting cleaned up in other towns, they're getting cleaned up by private individuals.
Not without owning the property. The lawyer told me I can't step on Williams' property because I don't own it. I can't even clean out their garbage.
I'm
in
sure
their
you're
lot.
right, so don't let them catch you.
And all I need is one of them suing me for lifting something up. And they will sue you if you go to
Somebody calls the sheriff, you got a half hour.
We're gonna move on.
The sheriff doesn't care.
Keep spending money on lawyers. Can't do anything with
Okay.
property.
If since we're at a stalemate on this right now, if you got the health department involved with it, could we not get an order by them in order to, the permission to actually clean the places up?
Can we try that?
Yeah, we've been down that road.
Somebody
Man,
called
and
them, didn't
planning,
they?
and they don't give a hoot whether they're.
I think a good example of health department is right south of
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
right south of town.
That's another thing.
They've
Why
been
can
involved
you-
in that, and they were slapped, about lost their children. I think they were going to send them to jail, and they got out of that. They just put them on a probation, I believe.
Well, so that's worse than ever.
It did get cleaned up there for a while.
It was.
Almost.
Yeah.
What's the
Pretty
bad
close.
it
It
ever
is
did.
now.
We've tried that.
Last long.
We don't get any help back from that.
No, but we.
How
I
about
didn't
going
say
to the
that we
Attorney
did.
General over it?
We did get some properties cleaned
Because then
up.
it,
We really did,
it falls
Steve.
downhill.
Some that were
You go to
given
the
us
top
and
and
we
it's gonna go
burned
downhill.
So we-
Because a lot of these smaller offices, they're not gonna wanna do anything. They don't wanna get involved. They don't wanna do nothing.
Oh, someone's right.
You start at the top, you go up to the Attorney General, you take pictures and you show them and you tell them your plight. Something will get done.
Talking about John Bruning.
Yeah.
Can I ask
Because
one?
that's 7 years of looking at my shit and I can't sell it.
Vaughn, I'd like to ask you a question. You talked about your place up here. Some people had said that they would pay for taking that stuff out of your yard to the transfer station. Would you give them written permission to do that?
Sure.
Yeah, would you?
I'm just trying to clean the inside out before I
Okay,
get the
but they'd
outside.
like to clean that outside.
Yeah, they clean me out.
Like, you know,
Everything except for the cement.
across the Catholic Church. Some people have approached me but they didn't want to
It
go
is
on
an
without
eyesore.
permission.
Yeah, I dig more
But
permission.
would you give them written permission to
Yay.
do it?
Whatever, just tell
Okay,
them. dig
all
it.
right, I wanted
Go
to.
for it.
Write it up,
One
she'll
question
sign it.
I wanted, Steve.
They left my house a mess, and all the cabinets
Okay.
are out, the
All right.
counters are out.
I will tell those people.
They left a stove in there, everything. There's this
trash.
Okay.
The ceilings are falling in.
Okay, thank you for that.
I don't know what they did to it, but, oh yeah, it's a mess.
Okay, the next item is water service requests.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I think we've got 3 water service requests.
Okay.
I don't know if there's people here relative to bonds here, but I'm looking to see, or do we have 3?
We got 2 for sure, don't you?
Well, what about this transfer of
That's
deposit?
Lana, yeah. That's one, and then bonds.
To what?
Where's she transferring water to?
No, she's not.
No, I'm not
She's
talking.
No, I don't mean bond.
Lana's transferring up the hill.
She wants to she asked if she could transfer her deposit from the Somerville property, and I believe it's across the street. She gave an address.
But do they have to pay for the property?
That Paul's house.
No.
Beans old house.
Beans all
That house, I don't need
Ain't
it.
nobody
I don't
living
need
in
it.
that thing.
That is not occupiable.
No.
I
it's
did look
not.
at that.
Well,
That can't
And
be.
it's not occupiable.
No, if the roof is
The
gone.
roof is gone.
The floor is gone.
John wants the
Jim-
water for the
Jim thought
horses
maybe they
because that's
wanted the
almost
pasture.
5-acre property.
Because there's a pasture there.
I don't know for sure, but we need to
I don't
find
know.
out.
It was just a
Okay,
message
then
on my
we can
machine.
do- Since we don't, that's all we know, that
That's
we don't
all
have
I
to take
know.
any action.
Right.
But
They want water
the
because
answer
he
is,
wants to put his horses
we need a
over
lot
there.
more information than
Well,
that.
I will call her. I didn't call her back. She left a message and tell her to talk to you,
Told me
so we
he
know
wanted
what's going
to
on.
bring a horse up there. So
Better check to make sure.
we need to
Beans
talk
aren't
to him.
Yeah, but that would require a meter.
That would require
Yeah.
him
Well,
In the
to,
pit.
that or a frost-proof hydrant and a meter on the hydrant. Which would all be his.
If it's seasonal.
Yeah, if it's going to be seasonal.
well, we don't even know what.
Yeah, we don't know what they want.
For somebody else to put horses on
I
there.
got a question. I just paid $1,051 to get my deposit and my water back on because I wouldn't hear when it got shut off. Am I gonna get charged for the pit and the thing? I don't think so. I just asked if I
Okay. Let's, okay, you're on, Ron.
This is my first one.
Her request is for water service.
Yeah, it was supposed to be on Monday or Tuesday. Today's Wednesday, still ain't on.
And, no, but there's some extenuating circumstances here, all right? We've had a heck of a time, from time to time collecting, for water that was provided. We had water, theft down there. We had water.
Yeah, my ex-husband my husband that died, and then the roommate. And I was in Colorado when it got shut off.
Okay.
And
Even to the
funeral.
point where we had to fill in the
I don't know anything about that.
Curb stop.
curb stop with gravel so that they wouldn't turn it on themselves. So
Well-
we got a bad history down there.
Yay.
Maybe you weren't here. I don't know.
No, I wasn't. I was in a funeral in Colorado with my nephew, my brother Fred.
It wasn't just one day, Bon. It was,
I know that was twinning. Then Bob moved in and he did it while I was gone. Did I get in trouble for it? But it's in my name.
Here is, well, here's the reality. You, as I understand it, you have, the money's been put forth to pay what is owing,
Paid in full.
current deposit, etc.
$500 deposit.
All right.
He paid her
Uh,
to back.
Get
Not
it?
how to turn it on.
She said it'd be on Monday or Tuesday. So here
Well,
it
I
is.
talked to him, and he said wait till tonight.
Because of this history, I think that's why I said wait till tonight.
And I'll give her back a money.
Dude, I'm not gonna
We
pay for a
certainly
month
would.
if it ain't
Now,
long.
that would go without saying. We would give her money back, but because whatever money she provides, we're going to have to put in a. No, you wouldn't have to put in the pit. You're absolutely.
Thank you, because she said
Or
that
the,
we
or the
put it
meter.
in the pit.
But the
We
money
got-
that
yeah.
she's putting forward would go toward that.
Paid all that.
Uh,
plus the 500 to have service in.
I'm wondering about the gravel
It wasn't
and
set for 2 years.
the curb stop. What's the scoop
occupied
there,
it.
Alan?
The reason that we put gravel inside this curb stop was because it was, and I'm not blaming anybody.
Twingo, I said, I got your water on for
I know,
you.
I know.
I didn't know he was doing it illegally.
Somebody else had a curb stop wrench.
Yeah.
And they turned the water back on. So we shut it off. We even had the law down here from from Thayer County. Shut it off again, and the water was turned back on. Mrs. Marge and Jim were with me. We filled it with gravel so somebody couldn't put a wrench in there. So now, I mean, if we're going to give you service, we're going to have to clean this all out again. They'll have to.
So it's my charge.
Excuse me. No.
Oh, good.
There'll have to be a meter pit put in and a meter put in before we can give you service.
So when is that gonna be? I'm not gonna pay for a month for the service for that
Bon.
water.
I mean, we'll try to get this done as soon as we
You
can,
have to have a
but,
plumber come out to put a meter put in, can't you? You have to dug out.
but we've got to have, with this project, we got about 3 or 4 extra meter pits and meters that we used to install for this. I mean, the village is going to have to pick up the expense of putting in the meter and the pit, but it's because of the theft of services that we filled this curb stop full of gravel.
Can that be vacuumed out?
Yeah, we can vacuum that
That
out.
still doesn't
I mean,
put a
I know
meter
that's
in.
true.
No,
And that's where
Let me
the
take it
issue
back.
But
Now,
can't you turn her water on so that she can have water so she can flush her toilet
Not
and take
until
a bath?
Not until we get the meter, not until we get the curb stop cleaned out and turn the water on.
Yeah, it can be.
I mean,
I
before
got
the
a new
meter
water
goes
meter,
in.
all the fucking fixings and everything. There's $2,000
I'm
to
not-
a bucket of water on.
You know what? I used to have that house down there, and there's still an old meter set up
I
out
told
there
him
that's
that.
brick lined on the side. I don't know if you can use that on.
It's okay.
You can't use it anymore.
Is there a way that we can put a meter in that
Yeah,
thing
you can
without?
see it. You can open it and get.
I mean,
I showed them where it was.
There's a pit there?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It's a
then,
nice one, really.
okay, if there's a pit there, then we can put a meter in that pit.
For now.
There's
Instead of
still an
putting a
old meter in it right now.
Instead of putting a new meter in there,
Yeah.
instead of putting a new meter pit in.
Yeah, it's right on
Put
the
the
side
meter
of the
right
house
into the
there.
existing pit.
Yeah.
Saves you better.
It's brick lined.
This
It's
is
pretty nice.
unfortunate. This is unfortunate, but this isn't the village's fault.
No.
It really isn't. It isn't necessarily her fault.
I'm just trying to tell you about your pit. You might be able to save you from building.
Sure,
a road.
sure. Let me tell you something. That's like saying I'm sorry. And sometimes sorry don't cut it. Now, does somebody want to make a motion to
Deny her service.
provide this woman with service? I can't tell you how quickly it'll happen, Bon, because there's things that have to be
Am I
done.
gonna get charged for a month that I didn't get it?
No.
You won't
Certainly
get
you will
charged
not.
until
You
we
won't
turn
get
the
charged
water
for
on.
one dime that you don't get the, I just don't know how quickly it can happen.
Okay, I've just asked it.
That's fine.
You'll get it.
Does somebody want to
I'll
make a
make
motion?
them.
Also moved.
All right, I got a motion and I got a
I'll
second.
second. We give her.
To provide water service. It will require that we vacuum out the curb stop. If the existing pit can be used, would you see if you could get
I'll contact Roger.
Roger to come up? Does he have some others to do?
Well, he's got some other work here in town that needs to be done, but
Not necessarily having to do with the meters?
no.
Okay.
But get bond water first, and then we can always do the other stuff.
We'll get it done as quickly as we can. Okay. I got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
Thunder.
Yeah.
I just saw lightning.
Okay, I'll call the question. Jeremy?
Yes.
Marge? I'll vote yes. Jim?
Yes.
Marge? Yes. All right. We'll get it done as quickly as we can.
How
Yeah.
hard is it to get the gravel out of that curb stop?
We'll just use it, we'll
I
drive
would
back
think
and
of,
suck it
I would
out.
think of.
And it'll
you
suck it, pull it all the way
Yeah.
up?
It should.
Couldn't you do it with a shop vac?
That's what I
That's what
said,
I
it
said.
went right back.
I thought there was one other.
I've got one, but I didn't know if you needed some help, that's why I was asking.
I'll let you know, and then we'll just use, I can bring the generator down and to run it, that shop vac. so we don't have to use bonds
You
and
can get your
electricity.
power from the
What was the other? There was another.
Onset there.
Yeah, we can run extension cord.
If you need to
You
do
didn't have anything
Okay.
else?
If you need electricity, just,
I thought we had.
yeah, we can.
We'll get it on as soon as we can, Bob.
That's all I came here for.
I might think of that, but all
All sits on the ground.
Another water.
Come on, Miss, yeah.
Okay, claims treasure reports and minutes.
I know one of them.
Uh,
I wouldn't know what it means. Like a zipper box. What that is. There is some box.
If I don't have anything to do with it, right. Okay, I don't have anything to do with it, I just want to stay for the water.
You
Okay,
get
you
it.
got it, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Come on, I know.
Fine.
You don't have to stay, that's not a requirement.
Okay, Vaughn, will it be all right if I come down and get a paper signed with permission?
No, you get, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'll come down.
Not before
No,
10.
I'm not coming down tonight.
No, not before 10 in the morning.
10 in the morning.
I've been getting up at 7 o'clock every morning, I'm sleeping till 10. Right, night, night, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
What does that make the total,
You're
Donna?
staring at me, you're saying, you're saying, this is what
508,
nice guy looks like. A nice guy.
508-393.
I know
Every
that.
time
No,
I
I
walk
didn't.
in.
Well, you sure, okay.
508.
Well, I didn't think we were quite, I didn't think you could figure that quick. That's all right. I wasn't gonna give you any credit for it. I didn't think you did.
You know what I do when that happens? I won't lay on the bed, I hang my feet off the bed and stretch. And just
Face down.
Face
We
down.
have white
But
nickel
the
on
things
there.
will be up
Did
to
you notice
know
that,
what you're
Clay?
thinking.
I did.
I just hang
I
down.
didn't know.
I wasn't.
Yeah, Alan.
Okay,
And just
he
relax.
was the fella that came from Western, he was the one that found
This
the
is
A rib.
rib.
I'm just telling you what
manhole
works for me.
in Mark's field. And he's the one that found the curb stop over here at the church, the Presbyterian church. And then he spent a couple evenings with us over on North Tarbine, or Meridian Street, when we had that mess going up into Betty's. So, like I told Donna, I said he needs to be reimbursed for his time, so. He really didn't want anything, so,
Thank you, Alan.
yes.
Are this Pawnee Rural Water District, are those meters that can be put on as a temporary installation?
Yes. See, a new meter will run around,
A seasonal,
yeah, a new meter will run about, I think they said 48.61 or something like that. They're just shy of $50 a piece. And that's just a plain meter with no type of readout or anything for something like this. Now, this guy from Pawnee Rural Water, I visited with him and they had a whole bunch of meters they were trying to get rid of. And so I started dealing with him and he said these all work. He had some with readouts, some that were just plain like this. And I told him I'd take 6 of them at $10 a piece.
so would you just read this at the start of the season and then at the end? And we wouldn't ask.
I'll put it on and I'll take them off. But I figured it's cheaper. They guaranteed all these work. They had less than 100,000 gallons run through them. And he said they've used these same census meters that have had over 9 million gallons run through them. So
But I don't think.
I figured it's
we can go
cheaper this way than buying a new one.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right.
Now, the meters that we got and put in our basement or in our pit, how much do they run?
I thought they were $800
Installed.
installed. Yeah.
$800 installed.
And the pits were 15.
And that was higher for the pits?
Yeah, 1,300.
1,300 because you got to include the price of the pit and the labor.
That's just a round figure, I mean, that's approximate.
Which agency?
Okay, claims, treasury reports and minutes.
I'll move to accept claims treasurer's report in minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Oh, you-
Motion and second. Van Weston and Derflinger. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Bills or receipts?
I have a question. Why is the Blue Rivers area agency handy bus, what do they do here?
Once a year, we pay that. They provide a service to senior citizens.
Oh, not where they have the meals, but.
No. This is to go to Fairburn.
Yeah.
What, once a year they only come in?
No, they pay them once a year.
Pay them once a year, I'm
But,
sorry.
you what?
I don't know how you get the service. I
Probably a
can't tell you that.
contract on them.
But I thought that the people that use that have to pay them for the service.
No,
No?
no, it's a free service for seniors.
Oh.
So that means, Ruth, if you want to go to town, you want to drive, just call.
Just get on the
Well,
bus.
you know,
Get on the bus. That's a
when
short
our
bus,
road is
Ruth.
blocked and I have to go around all that, I'll just get.
I don't know how much it's taken how much it's used. I should
I've only
say.
seen her down here a couple of times.
I haven't seen it much either.
So.
It's a good question, Ruth. Because I really haven't seen it used that
I don't
much,
know how many
but
people.
and I don't
Well,
know.
some
You know.
people would go to the doctor used to with it, but I don't know if people use it anymore.
Not used more than this for one person.
So, the 4 days trip from town tomorrow, time
We ought to ask and see how often.
I wonder how many people
Use
use
it.
on wheels.
Do they give you anything like that?
I think they have.
Why don't you? I mean, do they give you anything like that as a record? Say we
What are you doing from there?
served it.
Heading home?
It's kind of like muddy
No, but they
paws.
keep track of
You're
it.
paying for something you're not
We ought to do
using.
that. Let's just hold that deal.
I've seen it here, but it's been a long
See,
time.
see,
There might be, but I didn't.
what the hell's wrong with it?
Yeah, we motioned to pay all of them.
I was asking.
You're still gonna pay
Well,
it.
hold it out. Well, we're probably not paying them. Is this for services already provided?
I'd have to look in
You
the,
have to-
I think it's for the year.
Ruth, I wish you hadn't brought that up.
Well, years ago, there actually used to be a bus set down the road.
Yeah,
I
they
know
used
about
to be
Saline
used
County, it's called SCAT, Saline County Area Transit. They take people to Lincoln to the doctor, Omaha to the doctor.
Geneva,
They go
everywhere.
everywhere, and I think this company does the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, why I
You have to pay
questioned
so
it
much
is
for
Yeah, but I
Rita.
see the Saline County bus all the time.
And but the Fairbury charges per trip.
Just
They
Rita
do
told
on that.
me
It
that
costs
when
you
she
to
has
make
to
it.
go to Hebron to get her toenails done, you know,
Mhm.
she's diabetic, that they plan it when
Where is it?
it has to do with the girl that brings the food for the
Mhm.
senior.
And she told me the last time that she'd done it, it cost her $78.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. Cost her $78 between getting her toes done and riding up there.
Who was this?
Ruth, Rita,
Yeah, they
I
charge.
get-
Osborne?
She went
Sign up on these pedicures.
she went over to Hebron because she's diabetic and get her toes done at the senior center. And the ride and everything else cost her, it all
Yeah, she
cost her
told me that
$78.
too.
That's a good traffic to
So
the
then they
house.
were making arrangements.
Mhm.
She didn't
What a license.
Huh?
What a walk.
Jim, when you have-
Fuck that $78. Otherwise, if I heard it,
That's
I'd
why I
with that.
Too late?
Hmm?
No, that's approved.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
can hold on to the check until I get
Yeah,
some
get some
response.
information, get some information.
Hey, City's dog's been coming in your yard 3 times this last week.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Reports, Marge, you-
And I've gone down there and told her,
I almost shot the phone twice this last.
come up and charged us.
Are you done?
Are you talking about that window?
Yeah, pit bull. I walked in my yard.
You just had to purchase it.
I'm walking in the yard and some bitches are in that little grassy patch.
The one that lives
Go left my driveway and I said,
Max.
I dropped his ears and lowered that tail and growled at me and I said,
Well,
"Not a good plan."
Motion second.
And then he walked around past me and went on.
Discussed it.
He runs
Jeremy,
right on
yes.
by our place
Marge?
and
Yeah.
goes.
Mark?
He likes to go out of south, west
Jim?
of town out there.
Okay. And I want some information.
I'll get
You
it.
don't have Dalton was bragging about his dog never jumps out the
Okay,
window.
back into this.
She's done it 3 times.
I have,
Jumps out and goes out on the
Folks.
porch.
Can we ask you to turn down a little quieter, please? Thank you.
this has probably been an ongoing project for 3 years, 4 years almost.
Yeah.
I have some
Okay.
bids in front of you from Fox Interior and interior exterior decorating, and one from Lynn's Painting. And have you had a chance to look them over? Steve went over with me when Dean Fox came over, and we went through pretty much the things I picked this bid up about 5 o'clock, met him on 136 with it.
Now, do we have a donor for this?
We have some, community club is putting in $3,000, and the alumni, Donna, what is that? Got that letter from,
It's that in 2009, they said they had $1,307
and then,
to give, and the village has $1,535 worth of donations to go towards that
yeah,
project.
but the community club is giving 3. And then what was the other figure?
$1,535 is what the donations to the village,
Okay,
and $1,307 from and this was in 2009, from the alumni.
but I couldn't, I guess Donna and I are really trying to read and understand their letter, that they've issued a challenge that they're talking $5,000. Is that the way you read that?
Yeah, it says match funds up to $2,500 for gym renovation is their proposal,
Mhm.
the alumni.
And we could always go in for a grant from Norris. We could do that too. We could write one and try it.
Well, what have we got committed, Marge, if we,
Oh, well,
Rough estimate would be 5,800 and change.
that's 58 and change. Yep, on the right.
so we'd be
58 and
$2 grand
and
short?
change.
That's doing it in my head.
Okay, I put it change because you didn't have it right. 58 and change, but that doesn't include that, what they're saying that up to that 5. If they commit with the 5, that's $8,000. Right, Donna?
Mhm.
But does that include that money we're holding?
Well, it shouldn't, because ours is separate from theirs.
Yeah, I know it's totally separate, so I mean, I was, even in the alumni letter, I was having trouble, her figures were totally wrong, and I found that out today, so. Is that what we talked about with him?
that's what I'm looking
Under the interior.
So are these
Oh,
bolts for the same exact work?
at. Well,
Oh,
I wasn't there for the one bid.
I tried to get a few, a little correction on this one, but it's kind of very similar, I think.
For a big difference for the same
Well, and this one, do make note that
If the alumni hurry and die off, we could sell the building.
this bid does not include that repair work that he was going to have to do repair of those. I don't think so. You can't, there's no
I
sense
don't
in
think it
paying.
has anything to do with it, though.
Yes, they could repair them.
Neither bid.
That fucking attitude check. These people.
But this guy doesn't include
You
even
need to
fixed.
straighten this shit. Get your attitude straight.
Ceilings.
There's basically $4,500 difference in
Yes.
the bids.
Mhm.
Miserable, aren't you?
It'll be better in the morning when I get to the chiropractor. It's gonna hurt like a
Bots.
Tetro's better.
Okay.
We used to go to Bots.
He's on Main Street.
It's no good. Tetro was the best. And they also had
Do you know anything about
About this street. Well, he has painting everywhere.
It's awesome.
That's why he's done all this.
They come out of this.
He has a free They always send the money
Yeah.
goes to
I don't know. I don't remember talking. Did he say anything about half dues in
That
advance?
did not
I don't
surprise
recall
me.
that.
Or did he buy that company?
I don't recall.
A lot of them do with that.
Are you?
How they do it now.
Just until the tree was
Back when paper was dying.
Last 15 years.
Any views from you, Mr. Van Winston?
I was looking at
You're suggesting that this was back, they were still using lead in the paint.
Let's stay on.
Well, that's terrible. Otherwise, I'd say it was pretty much what we talked about. He didn't mention the charge for the carpentry work, but obviously, there would be one, I mean.
Yeah, but he couldn't bid that because of having to.
Well, yeah, and if you look at it, you know.
You
What's the
can't
time
just
frame
look.
on either one of them starting?
Yeah,
Project.
this could be done in June.
Okay.
Unless it would set in and rain for 20 days and 20 nights, or 30 days and 30 nights, and he would have to do outside work.
Well, we have to come up with the balance here of whatever we don't have, is that what it boils down to?
Probably.
Thank you. Do we need to firm up what we've got committed?
And well, I was hoping I would get
got
that
so many other projects, I don't
today.
think there's a building we
I
don't
keep
need.
hearing the $5,000 is guaranteed, which, you know.
Excuse me, the community club asked me if we're gonna meet tomorrow night, that if maybe we should do another project to help some more in this. So I'll let them know
Do
tomorrow
a
night.
fundraiser.
Well, I know that they, I don't know if it was the community club, my understanding was the proceeds from the theater
Yeah,
deal.
that has to be, that
Right.
hasn't been put in here yet either, has it?
Right, no, it's, we'll find that out tomorrow night, we haven't found out. But if you're short some, then I can tell them you're still short, and we might be able to get another project going to help on that.
Well, we wouldn't be short so much on the Fox bid that we couldn't,
No, that would be doable.
I mean, carry it if we had to.
Is this 5,000 that you're talking about on top of your 58 and change?
No, it,
It would be part of one of the,
and maybe. This is what I'm, because there's 3,000, this is from the community club here. And this we have in our funds here.
$3,000 commitment from the community club.
Yes, and this we have here. This was privately sent to us.
Right.
We have this.
We have
And
the-
this was just the money they had in 2009.
That's the alumni.
Yeah, $1,300, and I think if that got up to $2,500, the alumni would match
But I
that.
got
If what
different.
got up to 25?
the $1,307.
if their
That
funds got
is-
up to 2,500.
That is the donations that were made to the
Already.
alumni for
For
this
this
project.
4 years ago.
$1,307,
I should have brought my letter.
4
back.
years ago.
Okay.
So how much is this costing altogether?
The low bid is right at $8,000. $7,983.
Is this still part of that original 10? Or is this 8 on top of the 10 that they mentioned at the last
We only
one?
charged the other one.
This is, the focus has changed. We were gonna, that was for replacement of the ceiling. Now they're just
Yeah.
painting.
Oh, that was on the ceiling, now they're just painting.
There's your one, this one.
And repairing.
That's the other water.
2004, that's the original.
We didn't approve to get there.
No.
Yeah, I don't know our,
And I haven't received it yet.
I don't
We
know
did that
where
once.
Jimmy dropped
Yeah.
it.
That's what we did in the
White edition.
I don't think so.
on the south side. Of the
Well, we're gonna act, we're
Everything
gonna
that is scraped.
we're gonna have
Pressure
to
washed it twice. Painted it.
like,
Well, here, see, here's 1,600. Right? Okay, they got 1,665 last year for you, right?
What's that?
They got 1,665 here, Steve. That's last year, and they've got donations in more since. So they've got another, right?
Yeah, but
But I was told that they were going to give, I thought, no, not just that, I'm saying, I know Alan Swap did endorse a big donation, literally, I don't know what it was. Now, that is their thing.
Not sure a lot.
No, we're not.
let's get pretty close. We can, how about the alumni? They get the biggest.
Yeah.
That is the alumni.
That is not.
Well, they got
Well, it is, right?
Well, it's, you know, there's two things that happen there. We have a play, the community club is involved, and the alumni. That's what happens in the deal, in the gym.
So you need to have more fundraisers, like maybe a dance or.
Well, and Ruth's saying that can possibly happen, but the alumni,
Runs it.
A craft show?
No, it's not the
I
same
don't
thing.
think They don't run it.
the alumni and the community club is not the same entity as far as I know.
Okay.
So they don't want to agree on putting on dances or something and charging to get in?
I don't think that the alumni, as a rule, they meet once a year when they're here.
Oh, really, once a year?
That's
Well,
the
not
really
here.
old timers that come
If
down.
they meet,
The
they
ancient
have,
ones.
they have a banquet.
That's your original school.
They are.
Was the last year
Me.
they graduated.
That's the original old timers.
This
Yeah,
makes more sense.
right. They're on their 50-year reunion.
And that school's been
Like
closed
me.
quite a while.
67 was the last class.
Really?
67, yeah.
65.
And then they're gonna
If they're willing to match up to 25, if they're willing to
I think they're
2,500,
gonna match.
Yeah, I graduated.
we've already got that.
Yeah, we got it.
So I know. how
We've
to
already
do
got
them.
it.
Was it at that school?
Yeah.
No.
If this is what we want. Again,
In Richardson County. By Paul City. He's born in.
I worked with him. I've worked with him.
He's old kid, more than ours does.
Well, he's worked for the church, Presbyterian.
I
church.
We meet once a year too. My 50th year.
Are they the same people that painted the outside of the church?
He knows what
Yeah.
he's
You're
doing.
gonna be 38?
Whole city is leg.
Okay, now the motion to have Fox bid, second.
I think.
Mark and
one
Rick.
for every
Any other discussion?
No, I didn't versus.
What about this money up front?
Oh.
Want to negotiate that? How about a third or
There we
something?
go.
That's not 15.
And that's the community club or the alumni.
My nephew is Highland College. In Highland, Kansas.
Negotiate that.
When it says when he started, so we would have to put it down until
July shows up,
Okay.
so.
What do you do?
Ask him what he wants. Start for a third.
But I'm gonna check.
If you want to tell him we still want to work on it. Just haggle a little
I'm
bit.
gonna be talking.
Drag your feet a little bit, see what
I
happens.
can drag.
Just tell him we didn't talk about that. It's kind of a big surprise.
I'm gonna check this.
There we go.
First and second.
I'm going to back up here because I remember the other,
Really?
oh, we didn't have the vote. Mark? Jim?
Yeah.
Mark?